comic fan, there is a really cool thing that's happening over at our LCS. Every single month, there is a new box O comics that you can get from Mill Geek Comics. This is my LCS. This is Ryan's place of work. And if you don't have an LCS, or you have given your LCS multiple tries, but you know what? It's just not working out. And I'm talking like give them like 3 tries.
Correct.
Give them 4 tries. You know, it's a tough business. Support your LCS. It's very important. But you got to get your comics somewhere. And if you're not getting them from an LCS, you can make our LCS your LCS. And Ryan, what do you do for them?
A lot. I do a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. I handle the Patreon stuff, which is what we're talking about right here.
Ryan can be your comic dealer, comic fan. That's what we're talking about. He's going to be the person to order your comics, to make sure they go in your box, to make sure that you're getting your orders. It's a fantastic thing. And we have 2 different options for you. If you want to have access to order whatever you want to buy 10 copies of whatever comic book, and you want to do it before orders get cut off, you can join Mill Geek Comics, our LCS.
We've had that option forever. Like the $10 Patreon service, it becomes your LCS. You get access to the catalog. You can pre-order books. You can set up a pull list just like you would at a physical brick and mortar LCS near you. Or
we have something new. Well, Russ does. The Mill Geek Comics does. And this right here is $50 a month. Can't miss comics. This is our recommendations for you. If you don't want to go through the hassle, because it is a hassle to order your comics, this is going to be 10 books that you're just going to get. 8 to 10 books on average. You know, some books are thicker, some books cost more money. So it's going to be right around that number of books that you just can't miss. Set it and forget it kind of thing.
That's the idea.
You know what? If you know somebody who wants to get into comics, but realistically, they're not going to go through ordering their Batman books and going through and meeting deadlines.
Catalog and like picking stuff that you've never tried before. Like this is a good idea for somebody who has never read comics or never had the process of reading at least single issues too. Like I find that I started out reading graphic novels, and it's a hard transition to go from there, head into the shop, set up a pull list, start reading issue after issue, month over month. It's a lot to keep track of, and this is an easy way at least to start doing something like that.
And some of these titles are going to be ones that we know that you guys are already going to want, ones that are popping right now. If you're worried about Batman, well, no worries. We're going to put Batman on there. You don't have to worry about that. So let's walk you through the can't miss box for October. There are 2 days left to join. And For December?
Correct.
This is a limited release. Russ just started this service. There's 5 left. Literally. Only 5 left if you want to be part of this. Again, this isn't my business. This isn't Ryan's business. Ryan works for Mill Geek.
We help with this.
And we recommend some books to be included in here because we know the stuff that we're interested in.
There's 10 books. We each pick like 3, I think. Russ picks 4. Like we split it up every time. But the 3 of us curate the books that go in this box. And then we pack them up and send them out to you. You've got till the 30th of this month, which is like 2 days.
That's right.
3 days. It's very, very soon.
Or the last 5 slots.
Correct.
And then next month, he'll probably open up to a little bit more. But It takes planning, preparation. These books have to be ordered months in advance. So
sometimes they get delayed, which is why the first box hasn't gone out yet, because that Hulk book got delayed forever and ever.
There we go. Okay, here we go. We have Maniac of New York going to the Bronx. The Bronx is burning.
The Bronx is burning.
So this right here, who is it? I mean, obviously it's Andrea Muti, but who is the
Elliot
Kalin? That's right. So the bloody saga of the Maniac Harry continues. So we've been covering Maniac of New York over time. This right here is a slasher that needed to be made, and I don't know how it took so long for someone to come up with this idea, but
it's simple.
It's simple. This is a world where in the 21st century, there are unbeatable serial killers living amongst us. One in particular, this is inspired by Jason. Jason
very clearly
goes to Manhattan.
This was one of my favorite books of the year, and the fact that they are doing a sequel to it is exciting. Came out of nowhere. I didn't know they were going to make a sequel to this. And because we loved the first one so much, we decided that just in case you didn't read the first Maniac of New York, we wanted to put it in here for you guys.
I felt like we were like obligated to do this. So check this book out. It's going to be in your box.
And yes, actually, I saw in the chat, these books are all bagged and boarded. If you do have a Mill Geek, even if it's just the pull list or this box here, everything we send out at Mill Geek is bagged and boarded. Yeah,
Russ takes a lot of pride in doing that. All right, take a look at this here. Timeless, another book that's going into the box. And again, these are like don't miss comics and like our recommendations. So whether you get the box or not, you should be considering all of these titles, looking at the variants. This is like what's setting up for all of next year at Marvel, isn't it?
This is kind of like a little tease. So it's coming out right before the end of the year to give you kind of like a tease of what's coming the next year in 2022 over at Marvel. It's kind of like a Kang time travel story.
Yes.
Which I guess every story with Kang is a time travel story to some extent or another.
Well, we have a timeless one-shot that's also soliciting through like Marvel's Twitter page, Doctor Doom's involvement. We have Kang, of course, but also Thanos wielding the Infinity Gauntlet covered
hammer
Mjolnir.
Yeah.
Which was from Thor 7.
Donny Cates teased that ages and ages and ages ago.
Courtesy of the Black Winter. Showing Thor what he's going to see at his time of death.
Supposedly Thanos with the hammer and all the Infinity Stones in it is going to kill Thor or something. So I guess, I've been waiting for Donny Cates to come back to that for quite a while.
And clearly it's in Timeless that this is going to be picking up from, because they're literally putting shots of that panel by Nick Klein, where they actually took that out and put that on the cover of the second print of the same issue.
With all the zombies in the background, right?
Yes.
There were a bunch of Marvel zombies back there. Mm-hmm.
And then they're also talking about entropy, the dying out of the sun, which is going to happen billions of years from now. But with time involved and Doctor Doom involved, like who knows what's going to happen. But this is setting up the stage for all of next year. And this is seemingly going to be the biggest problems our heroes are going to be dealing with.
Kind of seemed like a no-brainer for us to also include in the Can't Miss box.
Just like what Chip Zdarsky's doing. This is the second time we're talking about Chip freaking Zdarsky. This guy's the man.
He's one of my favorites.
Chip Zdarsky is teaming up Marco Cicchetto.
Daredevil creative team right here.
That's right. And if you're disappointed about Daredevil being done with this creative team, no worries, because they're doing this.
This is this
is what they've been building towards.
Event. Yeah, they've been building up to this event throughout the Daredevil book, especially with Kingpin and what he's been doing. Especially early on in that Daredevil run, you got a lot of scenes of Kingpin kind of cracking. Like he's been the mayor of New York City for a while, but we saw in Daredevil, for example, he smashes a guy in a bathroom somewhere, just gets in a fight and just kills a dude.
Just goes nuts.
He's not entirely...
He's got some anger problems.
Right. And now it looks like those might be boiling over here in this storyline.
That's right. Listen to this synopsis really quick. I want to just show a couple things here. For our audio listeners, we're looking at Devil's Reign. You got Kingpin looking almost demonic in the top left of the comic book, but you also have a slate of heroes. Spider-Man, Daredevil, Elektra as Daredevil, Captain America, Iron Man, Luke Cage. I mean, this is going to be a full slate of heroes that Chip Zdarsky has been writing about all in this 6-issue series, because they're being put up against a slate of villains that I'm really excited to see are going to go up against these heroes, courtesy of the management of the Kingpin. We have Crossbones, Taskmaster, Typhoid Mary, The Shocker, Whiplash, Rhino, and Kraven. Listen to that lineup, all being led by the Madman Mayor, the Kingpin of Hell's Kitchen.
It says right there, too, a Marvel event. It feels kind of like a no-brainer to also include this in a can't-miss box.
Fisk waited for his time to strike for years. You will not believe the aces he's got up his sleeves. Well put.
Can you zoom in on this screen over here?
What are you looking for?
Just in general, to cut out all the side stuff.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, we can zoom in on this. Yeah, there we go. A little bit less there. There we go. A little bit less. There we go. That's better.
Something
okay,
better.
Let's keep it rolling here. We got... perfect. We were just talking about this. This is a perfect opportunity to talk about something we didn't bring up. So in Nocterra, throughout the 6-issue run, which you can get right now, they're all out. And I feel like that's the first arc.
It's been on hold too, ever since issue 6 came out. It's been a few months. Like Nocterra has been MIA for a while, but it is coming back next month.
So we are getting a standalone Behold the Book of Blacktop Bill narrative. Blacktop Bill is a character in Nocterra.
We didn't even talk about him.
That's what I'm saying. We didn't get a chance to even bring him up about the which is okay. I think it's a great time to talk about it now, because the antagonist is he is a person who is paid to hunt individuals down in this world. And that's all you need to know, other than that he is a mix of the creatures and humanity. He's not like fully monster, but he has somehow crossed his DNA so that he is something in between. And he is just a completely negative space individual.
Yeah.
She's a shadow.
Yeah, just all black ink.
All black
basically,
ink.
used on that guy.
And we've been waiting every issue to find out more about his backstory because he is the person hunting individuals down throughout the narrative. So read the comic. It's very enjoyable, but you're going to want to know more about this person. They saved it for this one shot that's coming out in December.
Yep, all of these books are, at least right now, going to be released in December. So you will get the box sometime early January. So it's a bit of a little staggered release here, but you want to make sure you get everything in this box out in the month of December.
Nocterra, Hall of Mirrors, coming to a shelf near you. Don't miss it. Just like you can't miss The Scorched, Sean Lewis. We have the first all-new issue of McFarlane's new superhero team book. He's taking the Spawn universe to another tier, another level, bringing in King Spawn, Gunslinger Spawn, She-Spawn, Medieval Spawn, and I'm assuming, because I don't know anything else besides that this is a team book, something that McFarlane hasn't done yet with his Spawn universe. Well, rather, in the Spawn lineage. Like, we have never seen like a team up of this proportion. You gotta assume that all these powerful heroes are gonna be put up against someone incredibly strong. This is probably gonna be the big bad, antagonist that we've been probably waiting to see in the Spawn universe just outshine all the other villains. Someone that's like dangerous to the whole planet, end of all times type of character, to put these types of heroes and anti-heroes all as one team to stop them.
This is the kind of thing, too, that I wouldn't go out and get myself, but if I was getting the Can't Miss Comics box, I would read this. Since it's a number one, it's coming in the box already. Kind of made sense for us to put it in here, especially since Spawn is kind of having like a moment right now. There's all sorts of new Spawn stuff dropping.
Yeah, and I would definitely recommend people check out Gunslinger Spawn. I think had this box come out a little earlier, we would have included that in here too.
Correct.
All right, next on this list, we already talked about that one. Next on this list, we got, here we go. Stray Dogs, Dogs Days. This right here is a Creep Show homage, and it's done for very good reason.
It makes sense. It didn't hit me until just now when we were prepping for the show, but Creepshow is an anthology film with 4, 5 little short stories in the movie. And that's kind of what we're getting here with this Dog Days.
Every dog has its day.
Correct.
6 issues, 6 different dogs from the Stray Dogs universe. Tony Fleece goodness, Trish Forstner goodness.
I think it's just 2 issues.
Oh, I thought it was
6 stories in this issue.
Excuse me. Yeah, it's 2 issues.
Dog Days is a 2-issue little resurgence of Stray Dogs.
6 stories. I don't know how many stories, but maybe it's 3 in each.
It says 6 in there. I assume that means 6 in one issue and then however many in issue 2.
Oh, that's interesting. Those would be really short. All right, well, I'm excited to find out what it is. Regardless, right? I'm all in.
It's more Stray Dogs.
That's
more
all you need
to know. This was one of the craziest, most surprising indie books of the entire year.
The Lady and the Tramp meets Silence of the Lambs, horror thriller that took the industry by storm back in the standalone spinoff. Here we go. Is back.
No brainer.
With this standalone spinoff.
If you didn't read Stray Dogs earlier this year, this is a pretty good chance to kind of give it a shot. It should be available to find pretty much anywhere. I know at Mill Geek, we specifically over-ordered the trade paperback of Stray Dogs.
Dude, every shop that under-orders Stray Dogs, they're just being fools. You got to just go all in. This is such a great story. Everyone loved it. The exclusives, there are so many good ones coming out. And that's because this creative team, particularly Tony and Trish, they have a really high bar and have I don't know, man. They have a plan for what they want the covers to look like when they're all together, when their portfolio is made. They want certain horror movies over others. They want to be in control of the cover art that gets done. They're being very picky about what gets done and when, and it's creating just a gallery of such talent and such just exciting variants in a market when these are just dogs.
They're just dogs.
They're just dogs, but it's brilliant every time.
They're all horror movie homage variants. And it's cool to even see Tony Fleece stepping out and doing Vampirella variants now with dogs on the cover.
Yeah, teaming up with Tony Fleece.
Right?
The same thing.
Exactly. So they're branching out. Stray Dogs is so popular that it is now spreading out of its own title into other things, which is
different publishers even.
terrific.
To a degree. Okay, next one here.
This is all
we got Sir Edward Grey.
Acheron.
Acheron. Hellboy is gone, and the BPRD managed to fight off the monsters on Earth long enough for humanity to just barely escape underground. But Edward Grey must return to Hell to confront a familiar foe and finish what needs to be done to truly save the world. Comic fan, the King of Negative Space is back, baby. Mike Mignola, essentially MIA from the Mignola verse since 2019.
I did not know that.
Created a one-shot 2019 continuation since the end of BPRD, written and drawn completely by Mike Mignola, teaming up with Dave Stewart, colorist. Perfect team here. Taking a character that we largely got narratives from during the Witchfinder days. This is just a really damn cool character who actually died at the end of BPRD, but his narrative isn't done. He's got to go to hell to deal with something. This is a paranormal investigator in the world of Hellboy. And we're getting a one-shot in the Mignola-verse. And what's great about this, aside from Mignola being back to do something dope, to create something in this world that other Mignola fans like myself and Negative Space enthusiasts, Bernie Wrightson fans rejoice about, this is just a fun character. And every time Mignola does one-offs, like a one-shot, or really narratives within the Mignola-verse, it works as a standalone. So this is a great opportunity to just like grab something and be comfortable knowing you don't need to read a bunch of other stuff. This is a one-shot. You're going to get hit with a story that is somewhat contained. This dude's going to hell. He's got a great design.
Fight some demons.
He's going to fight some demons. He's paranormal investigating, and he's got to like tie some loose ends up. That's what you need to know.
I think that's the reason. Clearly, you put this book in the box. I'm going to go out on a limb and say this was your suggestion for the can't
If you get
box.
Mignola stuff in your box, you can, rest assured it's my fault.
Pretty sure that Tom made it.
Yep.
I don't think this would have made its way in the box if it wasn't like a standalone, easy to approach. If this was like Hellboy issue number 74 or something standing by itself, like that wouldn't have made it in there just Mignola, just because Mignola or Hellboy. But the fact that this is a standalone story kind of secured its place in the box.
There we go. A one-shot continuing from BPRD. No Hellboy. Edward Grey must return to hell. Exciting stuff. I've been hyped about this book. Just like I've been hyped about Venom, and then I'm kind of like meh about it right now, but I'm still holding out because of Al Ewing, and this is an important book for all of us to read. There's a moment happening in Marvel Comics that you can't deny is so like behind the scenes important that you gotta participate. Venom, a legendary run, one of the best stories at Marvel Comics ever. Probably best Venom tale ever told by Donny Cates. And then at the same time as that happening, Al Ewing doing one of the best Hulk stories ever made, Immortal Hulk, both ending around the same time,
right? And
then swapping titles.
Yeah, they switched. Each writer kind of like swapped titles. So Donny Cates is now writing Hulk, and Al Ewing and Rum V are also writing Venom. Tom's not as big of a fan of this Venom book as I am, which is a little surprising because I almost didn't even read this book, and then I remembered I work in comics, and it's Venom, and I should probably kind of know what's happening here. I picked it up at the last minute. I kind of enjoyed it. There's only been one issue of Venom released so far, so this is soliciting for issue number 3. We don't know how number 2 is going to go, but based on issue number 1, I quite enjoyed it.
It's the long term for me. Long term. It's Al Ewing, I'm gonna give it my time. I'm gonna check out every issue. It's a continuation from Donny Cates' run. I wish it was a little different than that. However,
a little more removed. I
think so. But Donny Cates is on Hulk now, and he's kind of doing something similar for Hulk. And it's
long game.
They're both long game comics, which is why you got to stick with it and why you got to read both of these titles. It's bigger than just the books right now.
And these last 2 books that we are talking about in the Can't Miss Comics box have been in every box, starting from issue number 1.
That's right.
House of Slaughter and Venom. So this will be the 3rd Can't Miss Comics box that is being released. Each one of them has had Venom and House of Slaughter in it from the get-go.
That's right. So these books for this particular box, when are they going to be going out?
This is the December box, so it should be released sometime early January.
And that's why we're looking at particular dates and why they mean a little different, because this has been an ongoing thing, and it takes a couple months to catch up. You have to put your orders in first, wait a couple months, comic books come out, they assemble your box and get it out. So this right here, if you order, you're going to be getting these. I mean, this isn't even in stores until December 22nd, and that's assuming there's no delays, which they have to also deal with.
There have been plenty of delays lately.
So, each one of these, there's a little flexibility. Maybe
Right.
something else will go in there, but this is the plan initially for right now. We have House of Slaughter, issue number 3 going in. And again, it's a spinoff from Something's Killing the Children. It's one of the hottest, independent, most interest behind this particular book than like any other comic book in the year. And we're finding out a backstory here behind the House of Slaughter. We're finding out more about what these characters did to get into the positions they're in, what these ranks mean, what these masks mean, how they had to position themselves and grow in rank. And I'm a big fan of this world that's building, but it's definitely that. It's world building and less about progression of any story.
It kind of makes me feel like if there was a spin-off of Harry Potter, you called it like Hogwarts, like kind of showing you
I can see that.
more of like the setting and the environment that the main character you remember from the main storyline is kind of raised in and brought up in. So it does fill in the world and the characters and the setting a little more. But we've just had 2 issues of House of Slaughter so far, and it's another one that seems to be in for the long haul, and like it'll make more sense the further along we go.
Keep you up to date on comics. Get any of the books that are just kind of a no-brainer. Like, I got to make sure to put that on my pull list. It's for those moments. I personally like having both. I like knowing that the hottest thing that I need to make sure gets on my order form, it's going to be there. And then I use my personal order form that I manage as like my secondary thing. I get my cover Bs through there, my variants, my random books I want to try out. I don't want to be the person going, oh, I totally forgot to add House of Slaughter to my damn pull
We
list.
specifically crafted this box. We picked each one of the 10 books that go in here to cover all of the bases, like the low-key indie books that I'm a big fan of, like the Maniac of New York kind of stuff. We wanted to get the books that you should be reading, like Batman. I don't think we had talked about Batman on here, but we do have Batman 118.
Oh, that was another one that we didn't get. Yeah,
Right.
but that's another one that's on there. What's a new creative team?
New creative team is starting on Batman in December, so we figured we should put the first issue of that new run in there to cover the bases for Batman. We've got popular books like Venom and House of Slaughter that everyone should be reading.
And then some like random stuff.
Yeah, so we wanted to make sure and cover all the bases, like your Marvel events. There's Timeless and Devil's Reign in here. There's a little bit of everything, and it might not be all your cup of tea. Like me personally, not the biggest Spawn fan, but that's going in there too because it's Spawn and it's like part of comic history.
You got to read it, dude.
Exactly.
You got to just put the time in.
So we specifically craft each one of these boxes every month to try and cover all the bases.
Comic fam, what do you think? What's on your LCS pull list? Let me know in the comment section below. Stick with us because Bags and Boards podcast has returned.
Starting the auction off at $1 for 1 minute, like we always do.
This is one of our favorite covers, and you got it.
A little bit of that, what y'all been looking for, right? A little bit of that, what y'all been looking for, right?